I'm just trying to think. Well, I'll find it later. All right. So let's go over to here. All right. So first of all, as you've been observing, maybe not for you here seen in the room necessarily, but those of you watching online, and you will be observing, I'm not going to be using the Integrity platform for recording lectures. Doesn't make a difference to you really. I'm going to be using, well, what was or is soon to be was Google Hangouts. It's YouTube Live. And the benefit to that is that for me, number one, when I'm done recording a video, it's there. Number two, I can record it live. So if any online students want to watch live, they can watch it live. And then it's available on a Google format. So that way, if you have a smartphone or a tablet or something like that, you can very easily watch the lecture. That way, like Integrity wasn't very friendly for like mobile devices and stuff like that. It was beautiful, looked beautiful. This one looks beautiful too, but you'll just see less of me because Integrity gave you a window of me walking around and presenting, and then the screen. I can't do that with Google Hangouts or YouTube Live. I have to pick one or the other. So what you're seeing right now is what's on my screen, and this is where I'm starting you anyway, because this is where you start. So the way to get to your class is through Blackboard. And if you're not familiar with Blackboard, I'm going to show you how to get to Blackboard. And then in the future, you can find other ways to get to Blackboard, but this is the way that you can find. If you go to LTC's website, go to ltc.edu. I just want to make sure my audio is still working. Okay, good. Then you click on current students. And when you get to current students, the first link you're going to see over here on the left side says technology and logins. Click on that. And what you'll see here is your LTC Blackboard login. It's the third one down as of now. Click on that and it's going to take you to Blackboard. Just so you know, if there are any important announcements, like Blackboard's not going to be available, you'll see it here. Okay. Now, if Blackboard doesn't work, but you still want to work on your assignments, there's a workaround. But just so you know, for example, on Sunday, September 4th, from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., you're not going to be able to get into Blackboard. They have to do an update. So just plan accordingly and just be aware of that. All right, so if you don't know what your login, if you've never been to Blackboard before, over here is the login information. Your username is your LTC student ID number, your password. If you've never been in before, is the last 4 digits of your social security number. If you use Blackboard, but it's been a while, or you thought you knew the password, you don't, there's a forgot your password link here. And if all else fails and you have no freaking clue what's going on, then you can always contact our help desk. It's available to you 24/7 for assistance with Blackboard. Okay. The help desk does a nice job of helping people out. There's also student orientation. If you want to follow it, you can. Each class is a little different. I'm going to show you how this class is set up. And I know they're kind of unifying or making a uniform class presentation on Blackboard so that it's easier for students to know where things are. So I'm working on that. I'm getting to that, but I'm not to that point yet. So I'm still kind of in the quote unquote old setup yet for my setup, which works pretty well. I think students find it works pretty well, but there may be changes coming along the semester where things are. But for now, I'll show you where everything is. You also have available to you some student support for Blackboard. If you're just confused on Blackboard, you're not familiar with it, you're just don't know, we have a gentleman by the name of Mike Nelson, and he's always available to help you, and he's here on these specific dates and times, and there's a phone number and an email address, and you can also stop in and talk to him in person if you need assistance. If you need that. All right. So when you go into the Blackboard and log in, now my side looks different than yours. Here I've got, maybe yours doesn't look so different. Like you might have a huge list of classes, but mine's going to look a little bit different because I'm the instructor. But what you're going to do is you're going to look for your advanced anatomy and physiology. It's going to say online, even though you're face-to-face. I have my students in the same shell as it is. So it should be the one that's showing up for you at 60526. When you click on that, you'll be brought into Blackboard. Now let me hit, oh, that's not what I wanted. Let me hit this. So that way it looks like what you see, because otherwise mine looks different, has all these different options and stuff like that. And I just want to make sure that I am following through with you. All right. So this, for those of you who've had Connect and this whole thing with Connect, this makes a lot of sense to you. If you're new to Connect, new to the whole setup here, you're accessing your assignments and everything through Blackboard, but when you click on your assignments, it's going to take you to McGraw-Hill Connect. And then you're going to complete your assignment on McGraw-Hill Connect. When you complete it, then it puts your grade into Blackboard. All right? So if you experience issues or problems with your assignments or getting to your assignments, or something's wrong with the actual assignments, you're going to need to contact McGraw-Hill because they're the ones that oversee the Connect system. If you call LTC's help desk and you say, I'm having problems with Connect, they're going to say, can't help you because we don't administer anything with Connect. So that's why I have it here. If you have any issues pertaining to the use of the Blackboard system or platform, your logins, password, email, contact the LTC help desk. However, if you have issues pertaining to McGraw-Hill Connect, Learn Smart, SmartBook, anything like that, and like I said, if you're new to Connect, this doesn't make much sense to you, but here's a site you can follow for some basic troubleshooting if you want to do that. You also have tech support. You can call tech support here, which is the fastest. You can call them, or you can go and you can chat with them sometimes. And they have pretty widely available student hours. For example, Sunday, you can go from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Monday morning, actually. And then they open again at 7 a.m. They go to 3 o'clock a.m. the next day. I mean, they've got, so if you're up at 11 o'clock at night and you're like, oh, something's not working, you really can call me. They're there, okay? So we've got long hours. If you have any questions that pertain to you personally, so like which happens quite frequently if someone is hospitalized or someone's pregnant and they're going to be having the baby sometime during the semester or whatever, and they need to work that out, let me know directly. If you're concerned about your specific grade and your progress, something that you wouldn't feel comfortable asking everybody in the classroom, saying, hey, I don't understand why I'm getting a D. You wouldn't want to say that in front of everybody. So just contact me directly. This is always going to be here, this announcement here. So make sure that you know where that is, all right? As I mentioned before, all exams are supposed to be taken at a proctored location. Now, for those of you who are watching online and you don't live in the LTC district, let's say you live on the other side of the state, you need to go to a tech college which is close to you, and then you need to work out an arrangement with that. If you, now it doesn't pertain to you here in the class with me, but if you are outside the LTC district and you need to take an exam, you click this link right here, and then you're going to be taken to a form. You need this information here. You get the information, you know your name, you know your email address, you check which class you're in, but you need to get your proctor's name, their title, where you're going to be testing it, the mailing address, city, state, all this stuff. You have to get all that information, okay? Don't have your proctor send it to me. You ask your proctor for the information, and then you fill that out. Those of you who are sitting in here with me right now, you do not have to do this, because what you do is you go to one of 3 locations for testing. Or if you're taking this class online and you still live within the LTC district, or Cleveland, Sheboygan, and Manitowoc are relatively close to you and it's convenient for you, you can take your exams there. Now, the Cleveland Testing Center is just down the hall here. If you go down that way, it's connected to the library. So if you go into the LTC library, next to the library, connected to the library, is the actual testing center. If you don't know where it is, go to the library and say, hey, excuse me, where's the testing center? They'll tell you, okay? In Sheboygan, the testing center is located near Randall's. Frozen custard and, you know, that stuff. Randall's, kind of by the movie theater in Sheboygan, if you kind of know where that is. It's the Sheboygan Job Center, all right? So you can go there and take your exams. Or in Manitowoc, if you go past, I don't know, when you come in on 151, if you go straight, that road that goes between Festival Foods and Walmart, you just keep going past that, and then to your right, you're going to see the Manitowoc. I don't know the names of these roads, but that's approximately where they're located. But you can always ask. If you don't know, you can always ask. Now, here's the thing. With Cleveland, the assessment center at Cleveland, they're open in the morning, and then they close generally in the afternoon or early evening. So let's say it's from 8 to 4. Okay, I'm just throwing out a number. If you're taking your test here in Cleveland, anytime between 8 and 4, you just go in and say, I'm here to take my test for advanced A&P. And they'll walk you into a computer, they'll sit you down, you log in, you go. And they'll enter the password for you, you go. Okay? So you don't have to set up an appointment. You just show up during the open testing hour times and you go. Manitowoc and Sheboygan are a little bit different. So if you're trying to figure out what your schedule looks like and what works for you, right here you can click this link. And here it is. It's your proctor testing center, schedule for fall. So you can see that here in Cleveland, they're open from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Wednesdays and Thursdays, a little bit later till 6 p.m. Manitowoc, they're there Thursdays and Fridays. Sheboygan, Wednesdays and Fridays. So the hours aren't quite as open and available, but they are there for your convenience. If you happen to say, hey, you know, might not work really well for your schedule because you just get the information, let's say on Thursday, you get the lecture. So I don't think many of you are going to be ready at 1 o'clock on Friday to take your exams. But for example, if you said, oh, Fridays at 1 o'clock works beautifully, and I live right in Manitowoc, well, there you go. So like I said, the Friday dates probably aren't going to work so well for us in this class, but or Thursdays. The Wednesdays in Sheboygan might work well for you in Sheboygan if you do that. Otherwise, they're open until 6 p.m. on Wednesdays and Thursdays here. Wednesdays more so for you again, like I said, because your lecture date is Thursday, so I don't think many of you will be taking exams on Thursdays or Fridays. If you have any questions about testing, the phone number is down here under testing procedures. You see it right there. Okay, you can always call and ask. Okay, but that's that. And I want to make sure you understand that you need to go to an assessment center, because I had that happen this past summer where I told everybody and you didn't tell me. I said, yes, I did. So just so you know, it's there. Okay, now, the way that the course is set up, if you look over here on the left side, you see some links. All these links are relative, pertinent to you, except for maybe calendar. Not really. I don't really use a calendar much. But the rest of these, you're probably going to be using. All right? So if you click on the course syllabus and schedule link on the left side, you're going to see two links. One is the syllabus, one's a schedule. I'm going to talk about the schedule first. Okay, so if you click on course schedule, you're going to be brought to a schedule. I kind of modified the schedule a little bit. So if you remember how I had things last semester, I kind of consolidated it and shrunk it up a little bit. All right, so if you want to, because I'm going to go through some of this stuff today anyway, so it doesn't really pertain to you much. This is more for online, but you want to make sure that you look under the tutorials. If it's the first time using Connect, the tutorials might be helpful to you, but I'm going to go through some stuff with you on Connect anyway. But anyway, overview here, because some of you maybe had me for summer only, for general A&P, and now you're coming to a traditional class. Summers and the fall and the spring are very different as far as when things are due. So make sure you pay attention if you were a summer student of mine. You do have weekly due dates, okay? So you have weekly due dates. So for example, you'll see that your learning plan assignments are due next Wednesday evening at 11:59 p.m. They're due by the end of the day, September 7th, okay? That's when you have to have your assignments done. In summer, for those of you who aren't familiar with how summer works, because summer is so busy for so many people and you got so many things going on for so many people, what I've done is I've made two different due dates for summers, where I say everything from learning plans 1 through 5, for example, needs to be done by this date in July. And then everything for the rest of the semester is done. I mean, summer is done at the end of, the summer term. That's not the case here. You have due dates. I'll talk about the reading assignments and all of the different assignments in just a little bit. So just hang on. All right. Obviously, we're here Mondays for traditional students for our lab sessions to go through and do whatever we want to do and need to do. But otherwise, I've got a pretty comprehensive schedule here where you see by the date what we're going to be covering in lecture. Okay, so we're spending 2 weeks on Learning Plan 2, for example, and so on and so forth. Okay, so just so you understand, this schedule tells you what we're covering what weeks. So if you're not sure what we're covering, make sure that you go to this schedule. I advise that you print it out. And then as you complete your things, you can cross them off. I did my homework, I did my reading assignment, I did my homework assignment, did my lab activities. And I have activities and practicals because sometimes you'll have more than one. So that's how that's set up. We also have the syllabus. I didn't print out the syllabus for you because for some of you, you look at the syllabus and you just chuck it anyway, or you prefer things to be online. One of the things I want to make sure that I go through with you, I'm going to talk about Connect and all that stuff in just a little bit, but I want to go through a couple things in the syllabus because this was a point of much confusion for many students. And so I want to make sure I go through this with you all so you understand this. So when we get further on in the semester and our sphincters start to tighten a little bit because we're not sure if we're going to get the grade we need, that you're not losing it, okay? And that you don't make a problem that is yours, mine, either. Because this was a big issue in the summer, and it didn't need to be a big issue if students understand how the grading worked in this class. So I'm going to make it very clear how the grading works so we don't have this conversation in December when you're looking at your grade and you're saying, I got 100% on the assignment, but my grade didn't go up. Sounds kind of kooky. You would think if you got 100% on an assignment, your grade would go up, right? Maybe. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this. Right here, if you look at the top, it says grading rationale. Down here it says grading is weighted. and is established and is distributed as follows. So 45% of your grade comes from exams. Your homework assignments, 20% come from homework assignments. Your lab practicals are 20%. Your reading assignments are 10%, and then your lab activities, if you have them, which you do have some, you don't have many in this class, but your lab activities that are graded are going to be 5% of your total grade. So the way that weighting works, it's not the simple, okay, there are 1,000 points available and I got 850 of those 1,000 points available, so I've got an 85. That's not how this works. It means that some categories are worth more than others. So for example, your exams are worth the most. So they're going to have the most impact as far as moving your grade up and down. Which one's going to have the least amount of impact on your grade? It's not a hard question. Which one has the least impact? The lab activities, yeah. Okay. The reading assignments have 10%. This is where a lot of it came from. This and like the lab activities and so forth. Okay. So the way that weighting works is that each of your assignments or activities are lumped into a category. So if you take an exam, it's going to fall under the exams category. If you do a reading assignment, it's going to fall under the reading assignment category. And then what it's going to do is it's going to average your scores within that category. Okay? So the reading assignments, if you just complete the reading assignment, you get 100 points for it. So that's an easy 100%. If you do the reading assignment, you get an easy 100%. Okay? But if you do 8 reading assignments and you've gotten 100% on each of those 8 reading assignments, what's your average across all those reading assignments? What's your average? If you've done 8 of them and you've got 100 on 8 of them, what's your average? If you've taken 8 assignments and you've got 100% on each of those 8 assignments, what's your average across all those reading assignments? 100. Does everyone see that? Sure. Now that we say it's easy, right? Okay. So this is how it works. As the semester continues, most of you are going to get 100% on your reading assignments. So what your grade book is going to do is it's going to average all your exams and keep that as an average. It's going to take all your homework assignments and assign an average for that. Your lab practicals, assign an average for that. Reading assignments, assign an average for that. And lab activities, an average for that. All right. Do we even have a? I do. Okay, good. I don't know how this thing works. I'll see if I can write on this. I don't know. Am I going to screw something up if I start playing around with it? I've got to turn this on. There's no battery in here or what? There's a battery. Let's see if I can do it. I like to do it online so I can show everybody. Maybe it's just not working. I gotta get a tutorial on how to work this stuff, use this stuff. Anyway, I'll do it. I'll do it here. Okay, so let me. Let me see if there's a. Okay, I'm just gonna do this for a second. That doesn't work very well either. It's kind of white. I'll make this screen for the most part white here. Okay. I'm gonna make sure that it can be seen here when I'm writing. Okay. It's my makeshift camera here. Okay, so let's say that my average for exams is 85. That didn't work so well. This is a dead. Are you serious? Do I have a marker that works? Okay. Let me. There's more than one way to skin a cat, you know. We'll figure this out. Sure, why not? Maybe like, Dr. V, we get it. We get the point, but I'm telling you, because it was just a holy nightmare. Okay, let's try that again. It was a nightmare. Let's try this again. Really? You got to do this to me too now? PowerPoint. That doesn't even work. Okay. Okay. It's not cooperating with me, so I'm just going back to this. All right, so you're just going to have to picture in your head here. Okay, so let's say now we got just a blank screen. This is great. I love technology when it works for you. Really? Okay. Stop. Share. Screen one. Share. I apologize for this. I don't know where the screen 2 is coming from and why it's doing this. Okay. Close that. Now let's see if it works. And there we go. Okay, we got it now. All right. Excuse me for the digression. Nothing's working here. All right, so let's say that your average is an 85% for your exams. Homework assignments is like a 90%. Your lab practicals, 90 again. Reading assignments, 100%. Lab activities, 90. Okay. So what was happening is students would get like 100% on their homework assignments. And then they'd be sitting at like, let's say you need an 86 to get a B. And they're sitting at like an 84 or something. And so they do their homework assignment, say, homework assignment, that's worth 20% of my grade. So if I get 100% on this homework assignment, my grade should go up. I should see an increase in my score. And what was happening is students toward the end of the semester were doing homework assignments, getting 100%, and their grade wouldn't move at all. And they were angry about it. I'm like, why isn't my grade moving? What's wrong with the grade book? Nothing's wrong with the grade book. Because your average for your homework assignments is 100. The only time your grade is going to change is if you get less than 100, and then it's going to bring your grade down. Okay? So you have to remember that as you go through the semester and you start doing your assignments, you're going to establish an average. If you do better than that average, your grade will go up overall. If you do worse, then your grade is going to go down. So if your average is like an 85 for exams, but then you get it 95 on your next exam, what's your grade going to do? Go up. If you get an 85 on your exam, what's going to happen? It's going to stay the same. If you get a 70 on that exam, what's going to happen to your grade? It's going to go down. See? So just keep that in mind, that if you have an average of 100% on your homework, your reading assignments, I meant to say reading assignments, not homework. If you have 100% of your reading assignments 12 weeks into the semester, and you're sitting at a grade that's lower than a B, don't expect your reading assignments, even though you're getting 100, to bring your grade up any, because it's just adding to the average that you already have as 100. Does that make sense? So your grade is a result of averages in these categories. And that's what students weren't getting. They were getting extremely frustrated because they'd be taking something and then their grade wouldn't move at all. Or it would go down. Well, it goes down if you got a 90%, but your average is 100, your grade's going to go down too. All right? Does anyone have any questions on that? Yes.
I remember in the springtime that you said that make sure you get your homework done, your lab tests done, exams done, then all of a sudden mid-course of semester you push a button.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden you may see a change, a reader experience like that, in the springtime like that.
Yeah, thank you for asking a question. I know that the computer didn't pick this up, so I'm going to repeat the question so you see it, and so everybody can hear it. Okay, so the way that I have the grading book set up right now is it's set to a running total. So that means that if you don't do an assignment, the grade book is going to ignore that non-submission initially. Okay? So this only becomes a problem for you, quote unquote problem, if you skip an assignment. So let's say if you don't do your homework assignment for Learning Plan 2. Initially, the fact that you didn't do that homework assignment, it's not going to show up in your grade book as working against you. It's not going to count any non-attempted assignment as a 0. But your homework assignment for Learning Plan 2 is going to eventually reach a due date, and that due date is going to pass, and you can't submit that assignment anymore. So for some students who just blow off assignments and don't do certain things, they've got all these blanks in their grade book. When it gets to closer to the end of the semester, I hit a button, and what it does is it takes all those non-submissions and now counts them as 0s. So the grade goes, if you haven't been doing your homework. So just keep in mind that I'll be doing that again later in the semester. So the best defense against that, against a radical movement in your grade because I'm switching the setting, the best defense is just do everything. Make sure you complete all your assignments and you don't have to worry about it. The only people that have to worry about are the people who are not doing certain assignments. So just keep that in mind, okay, with the grade book and the grading. The grade book is set up correctly. It's set up to do this weighted total thing. So just understand that once you establish your average, if you do something that's better than the average, your grade's going to go up. If you do something that's equal with that average, it's going to stay the same. If you do something that's less than the average, it's going to go down. That's going to establish it. All right. The other thing, I know I don't have an attendance policy, but I do have a policy to make sure that you are getting off to a good start. And I will strictly enforce this because I'm saying it very expressly and explicitly here to you, to everybody. If you go to syllabus, there's an attendance and participation policy. I'm supposed to make sure that I log your activity, your attendance, your participation in class through the first 14 days of class. Okay, that's what they expect me to do. If Jennifer's not coming to class the first 14 days of class, she's missing her first 2 labs, she's missing her first 2 lectures. I'm supposed to make note of that and let somebody know. And really, LTC's reason for doing this is 2 reasons. They have 2 reasons for doing this. Number one, some people will be enrolled in a class, get financial aid for a class, get money for a class. They don't show up. They fall at the face of the earth. They walk away with the money, and now LTC is trying to catch them and get the money back. Good luck with that, right? Number 2 is they want to make sure that you're successful in class. I want to make sure you're successful in class. And so they'll be contacting you and say, hey, how come you haven't been in class for the past 2 weeks? So what I want you to do is you need to make sure that over these next 3 weeks, this week, next week, the following week, that you're submitting all your assignments and assessments. Make sure you do them. If you miss any of them, you're going to be hearing from me. Because that's one of the ways that you get off to a good start. You don't get off to a good start by skipping things or thinking things aren't important. They're not important at the beginning of the semester, but when you get to the end of the semester, they're really important, and you wish you could have done that. So just make sure you do that, okay? Those are the 2 big things I wanted to go through on the syllabus for you. Okay. Down here on the left side, you have an area which says My Grades. And if you click on that, not going to see much now, but you're going to see up at the top your weighted total. This will be your percentage, okay? It's your overall percentage. And then down below that will be your letter grade. So if you have an 85, for example, it'll say C. If you have an 86, it'll say B. And then you'll see your assignments listed here. If you have any blanks where it says blank out of 100, you didn't do it. Or the Connect system didn't register it, okay? Those you want to make sure you do. It even has the due dates here for you. Due September 7th, September 7th, September 7th, September 7th. I even gave you, wow, I even went off of my schedule. I said you had to have something due by August 31st. I screwed that up, okay? So you got more time on your reading assignment. How about that? Merry Christmas. Okay. I'll go back to learning plans. I want to cover discussion board. Discussion board. You've got one here. All right. So here's the rule of thumb. I'll put you in my position and we'll see what your preference is, okay? So let's say, I'm going to think of one question here. I'm trying to think of a frequently asked question. Well, let me look at what we have. Is there unread posts? Let's see. What do we got? Okay. This is a great one. Okay, so we have a question. I go on to Connect, and the only course that shows up is an old psych class. Any ideas? Yes, I have lots of ideas. Okay. So if I can get this question once and answer it once, what's going to be more productive and efficient and effective for me? If I answer it once, or if I get 10 emails asking me this and I have to answer it 10 times? What would you prefer? You prefer once. Anybody prefer 10 times? Okay, so that's why I want you, if you ever have any questions, to use the discussion board if it pertains to the class. If it pertains to something personal, pertains to your grade, pertains to your standing in the class, email me or contact me individually. But if it's, I can't find this, this isn't working, I don't understand this concept, I don't see what I think I should be seeing, I would like to see that all done here in the discussion board. So everybody can read it and everybody gets the answer. Now, when you go to the discussion board, before I answer this, when you go to the discussion board, there's something that you should be able to do. Where is it now? Okay, so let me go back and just show you that because I clicked it, but I didn't tell you. If you click on general questions about the course, ask here, you click on that. You're going to see a button here. It says subscribe. Click on that button. When you click on that button, now what's going to happen is anytime someone submits something to the discussion board, you'll get an email about it. So if someone has a question on something, you'll get the email. And maybe it's something you were wondering yourself, because that happens a lot. Dr. V, I'm wondering, I haven't seen this. When is that coming? And then I get like 3 or 4 discussion board posts about the same thing. So if you subscribe, then you'll see that and you'll also see my response when I respond. So I'm going to respond to Nathaniel here. I'm going to say, Nathaniel, thanks for the message. Yes, I know why this is happening. You need to enter the course through Blackboard and click on one of the assignments, and then you will be asked to either purchase a code or register with your existing code that you had purchased through the bookstore, etc. Be sure that you are always accessing your assignments through Blackboard first. There. Done. Now anybody who's subscribed will see this response. Now I answered it once. If anybody else has that question, it's taken care of. Okay? So discussion board. Email. You can email me through here. You just click on all instructor users. You can email other users in the group. I would prefer that you don't do that, because then students don't always take kindly to being emailed en masse from other students. Calendar I don't use. Tutorials, I will be uploading this video into this one here, so that way you can watch that and review anything at any times. But here are some tutorials here on how to use Connect and so forth, but I'm going to be taking you through that anyway. So you can use those if you want. Okay, so I have not gone through learning plans yet. What questions do you have for me so far? Yes, Jeff.
Is the reading assignments the same as the LearnSmart system?
The question was, are the reading assignments same as the LearnSmart system? So Jennifer is referring to spring semester. Yeah, the answer is yes. I used to call them pre-lecture assignments, but in the summertime when we didn't have a lecture, then they weren't pre-lecture assignments because we had no lecture. So yes. What other questions do you have before I move on to learning plans? Okay, so some things are going to look a little different for you if you were even in my class in a previous term. So just make sure you take a look while I'm going through this. Again, here, when you click on learning plans, I have the proctor testing information in case you need that. If you want to go to Connect directly, let's say that you want to go into Connect to access your ebook, or you want to work on a LearnSmart activity, or whatever you can do, or you want to watch a video or whatever in Connect, you can access Connect directly by clicking here, but don't click that if you haven't registered yet. Okay? Because if you do, it's going to ask you for all this stuff. I'm going to take you through that in just a little bit. Another thing that we frequently experience in this class is you find an error, or something doesn't look right, or doesn't sound right, or we have a question. Maybe it's on an assignment or whatever. It's really hard for me to understand what it is you're talking about because I don't see what you're seeing. So I ask that if you're going to put a question on the discussion board saying, hey, I found this question on the assignment and I think the answer is wrong because according to the book it says this, but it's saying that the correct answer is this, please include a screenshot. And if you don't know how to take a screenshot, click on this link here and it will show you how to take a screenshot that you can attach along with your discussion board post. Okay, so make sure that you are attaching screenshots if you're referring to things in assignments. Down below, you're going to start to see your learning plan folders start to, this list will grow. Okay, so, well, it shouldn't grow too much because the folders close out as well. But this is where you're going to find all your assignments. So if you click on this where it says learning plan analysis of the physiology of the endocrine system, first thing you're going to see are your notes. Now I'm going to tell you something about your notes this semester. compared to general A&P. So you may find that your notes are sometimes very, very, very long, like lots of pages. And it's not because advanced A&P is this much more you have to learn. The reason for that is because I start off with information that reviews what you should have covered in general A&P. So if you need a refresher, or you want to know a little bit about the system that we're going in as a refresher, you've got it. But you can see that this set of notes is 11 pages of notes. And so some of this stuff in class, I will skim over. I'm just going to say, well, this is just a review. If, for example, if you can't remember what the anatomy of the heart is and like, the different chambers of the heart, here's the information that gives you that stuff so you can review it. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean this is new information that I want you to learn. So just know that the length of the notes sometimes has to do with the fact that I'm providing with review information on the notes. Okay? If you want to print out your notes, all those pages of notes and do it, that's fine. If you just want to follow along electronically, that's fine too. I don't print out notes for students. If you want the notes, print them off and bring them yourself, okay? I'll print off notes for myself and I have notes for myself and make sure if you want notes that you bring them along, okay? So these are the notes. These lecture videos are old right now. So wait till Thursday because then I'm going to be re-recording these and putting up new videos. These are old archive videos. They don't even pertain to the book that we're using, but I had them there for the summer students just in case. If online students want to go on and start doing it, fine. My recommendation is wait till Thursday, but that's up to you. I also have here, this is a video that may be interesting to you. I also add different videos that I think may be pertinent or relevant or interesting to you that might help your understanding and learning of the information. So you'll see that here. Then below that, you're going to see your assignments for the learning plan. For each learning plan, you're going to have at least one reading assignment. Generally, the idea is if we spend 2 weeks on a learning plan, you'll have at least 2 of each of these things. Sometimes you'll see that we have more than one lab activity, even though we only have 1 week and so forth, but I'll get to that. But you're going to see that we have a reading assignment. This is usually an assignment. This week is the exception. Okay, this week is the exception. But the idea is that you should be completing this assignment before we cover it for class. So for example, ideally, I meant to do that, but I screwed up the due date, and now I'm sure students are in and trying it, so I can't go back and change the due date anymore. That's one of the frustrating things about McGraw-Hill Connect. Once one student goes in and starts taking it, I can't change anything. It's set. So if I screw something up, it's screwed up until either I delete it and make a new one, or I just let it ride out. So normally, this Learning Plan 1 reading assignment, for example, would be due by the end of the day this coming Wednesday, the day before we have lecture on the learning plan. The idea is to give you introductory information so that you understand it before we go into class. I'll show you that in a little bit. You're going to have a homework assignment. This is an assignment that allows you to practice the information that we're covering. You have a lab activity and a lab practical. Lab activities are going to be different than lab activities that you had for general A&P. Lab practicals no longer require you to take them with Tegrity. So you don't need to use Tegrity for anything, okay? So if you had me for a previous semester, like in the spring, and you were using Tegrity for your exams and lab practicals, no more. No more Tegrity. And then here's your exam, which you have to take at a proctored location. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on the reading assignment. If you're following along, click on the reading assignment. Now, we got a couple options here for you, okay? If you had me for a class before, or Sarah Hawkins, for a class before, you already have an account on Connect. So all you need to do is fill in your email and your password that you used in your previous anatomy class. And if you click sign in, you should be taken right over into Connect. Okay. So for those of you who have already had Connect and used Connect, you should be good to go. You should be ready to roll. You should be able to get into your assignments. All right. For those of you who are new, you need to click down here on register, where it says not yet registered. Click on register. You're going to need to enter your email address. Okay. Oh boy, let's see if I can do it. Okay. Thanks. Let's try this one. I'm just playing along so I can show you the next steps here. Okay. So once you enter your email address, what you're going to see is that it's going to ask you if you have a registration code here on the left. So if you went to the bookstore and you got yourself a registration code along with the loose leaf book, or you didn't get the loose leaf book, you just got the electronic access, all you have to do is enter your registration code, hit submit, and then you should be on your way. If you didn't, there's two different things you can do. You can buy online. So you go here and it'll set you up with Connect. And this is an ebook. Okay. I think there's another way you can do it. But anyway, whoops. That's not what I wanted. Or the other option is, those of you who are new, you can try before buying. You can do courtesy access, where you get, I don't know, I think it's 14 days of free access. But then after that time, then you need to purchase. So you can start your courtesy access using that as well. Okay. Invalid. What? I tell you, huh? So I'm going to just have to do something a little bit different here just so I can get into it to show you. So learning plans. Okay. So is there anyone who is following along right now with me that is trying to get in the Smart Book and cannot get into the Smart Book? What's that?
I can actually access computer.
Oh, okay, here's your password, yeah. I'm not sure why that is, or we'll have to contact the help desk. All right. So I've been in this before. Some of you have been in the Smart Book before, so you may or may not be seeing this here. The idea of the Smart Book is that you're going to be doing a little bit of reading and then answering questions as you go. It's going to sort of guide you along. But anyway, you can see you've got about 27 questions here, and it's going to ask you a question. The endocrine system releases chemical messengers called blank into the bloodstream. Type in your answer here. How sure of you are this? I think I know the answer. I'm not sure. No clue. All right. If you don't know the answer, you can always click over here and it will take you to a place in the ebook that will show you information about that. All right. When you find the answer, you can go back here and you can click on that. Or you can always click down here on read and it will take you through. Now, the highlights that you see here is because the questions that I'm asking you in these reading assignments are pertaining to these areas of the book. So as you go through here, you can see that you can page through the book and you can see various areas of the book and you can just read as you need to. You can always go back to your practice over here. You click practice and it should take you right back to where you were. Okay? If you want to see this stuff here, you can just by clicking on this thing here. All right? Yes, question.
I have not entered in my access code because I forgot it at home. But by clicking on it and having taken A&P in the summer, I just finished my registration and you're up. I haven't put in my access code or anything.
So are you in?
I know.
Yeah, you should be in. You don't
I
need
didn't
your.
buy it. I did not type this in.
No, you won't need to type your code in again if you've already used Connect for an A&P course.
Oh.
So if you took A&P in the summer, when you put in your email address and your password, it recognizes you and puts you in. So you don't need for advanced, because it's not tied to the course, it's tied to the book access. So
That's awesome.
so you're set. You don't have to re-enter your code or anything if you already had the class in a previous term within the past year. So so you should be good to go. So you don't need that. You don't need the code anymore. You just.
Do you know if we're able to return it?
Did you purchased a new one?
Yes.
You should be able to return it if you haven't used it.
Okay.
You should be able to. Yeah. Okay. So once you finish this assignment, and we're not going to see it here. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Once you finish your reading assignments, it'll tell you that you finished it. It'll give you 100% on it. If you try to go back into that assignment, and I can't do it here because I haven't gone through it, but if you try going back into it in the future, it's going to just give you question after question after question after question. It's going to just dump a million questions on you, all right? Here it is. So it'll be like table of contents. I'll show you what it kind of looks like. So I don't know if I can even do that. If it's, I'm going to try it and see if I get this, but it may not work the way I want it to. So if you click on that table of contents and click on a certain area, like I did, no, it isn't doing it. So anyway, once you complete that, it's going to say completed or something like that over here. It'll say 100% here. If you click on this again, it'll just take you into an endless barrage of questions over and over and over and over again. This is a great way to review if you're looking to see if there are any weak spots in your studies or things that you don't know. That's a great place to go back to. All right, so that's one thing. Okay, if you go back into Blackboard, I'm just going to show you the homework assignments. Homework assignments are well, now preview. Homework assignments, they're going to be about 25-ish questions. But if you see, you won't see it on your side because you're not the instructor, but I see it as I'm the instructor. You see how it says 25 of 66 questions? That means that there are 66 questions in this pool, but you're only going to see 25 of them when you take the assignment. So you will see a different set of questions again when you take this again. Now, every time you take it, you're going to get a score, but you can take it again. You can do, well, your reading assignments, you only do once, because once you complete it, you get 100%. Your homework assignments and your lab activities, you can do as many times as you want. Your lab practical and your exams, you can only do once each. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Yes?
I remember the beginning of the semester in springtime, you allow us to take the first test exam twice. Are you going to allow that this semester?
The only reason why I allowed that to happen was because there was a mistake on my part. So I don't anticipate that being the case. So unless there's something horribly wrong that happens on my end, expect to have one take at the exams. So because I'm an instructor on this end, I get the arrow telling me what the correct answer is. You won't get that. You'll see these four, you pick what it is. Now, here's the thing. If you don't know the answer on these homework assignments, you click down here. It says ebooks and ebook and resources. You click on it, and it's going to show a link. Click on that link. It'll open up the ebook to the area in the book that pertains to this information. Doesn't mean it's going to be right there. It's not going to highlight it for you, but it's in that general area. You can even do a search if you need to. All right, so you might be like, okay, well, this ebook is kind of cool. I'm using it. It works. How the heck do I get to this ebook, and where are some other things? Well, let me tell you one thing first of all. When it comes to homework assignments, my recommendation is that you do the homework assignments several times. Now, I know that every semester is a little bit different. We change things, but I had some students who were thrown for a loop because advanced A&P is just different than general A&P as far as the information. And they're like, you know, I'm approaching it the same way I did for general A&P, but I'm still struggling here. Information is a little bit different. My recommendation is that you go through those homework assignments until you know the stuff up, down, back, forth, left, right, inside, outside. If you don't, you're not ready. And when you do your homework assignments, there's a difference between, I'm going to show you it because I want to illustrate the difference. There's a difference between, like I said, it's showing the answers here, so it's a little not accurate here, but there's a difference between looking at this question and going through and saying, okay, synergistic, okay, I'm reading this one's permissive, and reading this one's antagonistic. Okay, there's a difference between that and saying two or more hormones work together produce a result. Let me look. Oh yeah, it's synergistic. Yeah, that's right. You know, I found the answer and to go back and answer that. Do you see the difference? I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? One, I knew the answer. The other one, I went and looked at the book, found the answer, then I knew the answer, and then I answered it. If you're still at the point where you're looking to the book to give you the answer or a reminder, then don't be surprised if when you get to the exam, you're going to be stuck, right? Exams are not open book. You can't look at the ebook like you did here. You're not supposed to be opening up windows and so forth. So that's my recommendation to students. Make sure you're doing these homework assignments until you know the stuff. Go into your Learn Smart assignments and do that, and keep working through it. You got to keep revisiting the information. Just because you got 100% on your homework assignment, looking up the answers to 80% of them doesn't mean you're ready. That just means you got 100% because you took it as an open book assignment and you looked it up. You know what I mean? It's a big difference. All right, going back to what I was going to show you here. Oh, yeah. So let's say that you want to look at your ebook or you want to look at some other resources. You can just click on this shortcut. Hello, come on in. next lab session at 11?
Yeah.
Okay, you can sit here if you want. We're finishing up. Okay, sounds good. So what you can do is you can, if you click on learning plans on the left side, you go here to shortcut link to Connect site. You click on that and it'll take you right into Connect where you sign in here. And now you're going to see it. Now, like I said, you're going to see it from a different perspective than me, but you should see your course listed here. It says Advanced A&P Fall 2016. You click on that. And then over here, you'll see the ebook on the right side. You should see that. If you click on that, now you're brought into your ebook. You can jump around by clicking here where it says book contents, and you can go to any chapter in the book you want. All right. If you click on the numbers here, it'll take you to that page number. If you click on the section, it'll take you to the section. If a diagram like this looks a little bit small for you, you can click here to see the enlarged PDF, and you'll see a bigger version of it. Okay, so some of the stuff it brings out for you. One other thing I want to show you, because some students totally miss this, and I think this is really helpful and beneficial for you. Up here, see how it says reading, video, images? It's going to take you through all the different chapters of the book. Endocrine system, for example. Let's say you're not up to speed on how hormones work. Click on the video. You can even open this thing up to take up the whole screen. There's a wealth of resources right in your ebook. These videos that you can watch, this one's a minute, but it'll give you an overview on how the endocrine system works, or how hormones work and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to use the resources here. There are images here too, right out of your book. Like some students say, do you have a copy of the PowerPoints you use or whatever? Well, there are images here that come from the book that you can open up and you can look. So all the pictures in your book, if there's something that's small or you want to take a look at it again or whatever, you can always look at these pictures. So the video part is really helpful, especially in this class, because with all the physiology, there's some videos that'll help you with that. All right. So I took you through the reading assignment, the homework assignment. I'm going to show you this lab activity because it's very different than what you've had in previous classes as we're getting to the end here. There are some activities through something called fills. Because you have access to Connect, you should be able to click on this link and be brought right in. This is a virtual lab. And all you do is you follow the instructions down here. And along the top here, you can see the different parts of it too, but it's going to tell you what your objectives are. It's going to give you an introduction to what the experiment's about, if you want to read that. It's going to tell you what you would be doing. Like if this was an actual wet lab that we were doing this in class, which I'm not a fan of, like, poking your fingers and doing all that stuff in a lab. Anyway, this is what you would do. And then you're going to get a pre-lab quiz. Answer these questions. You can skip the quiz if you want, but it might be helpful in your understanding of what's going on and helps you understand the concepts. But anyway, I'm going to skip it for now so I can get to it. And then you're going to have these virtual patients, and all the instructions are down here on what to do and how to get through it. So you're not going to get graded for this, but what you will get at the end, after you're done completing it, you're going to get a post-lab quiz. You may want to pay attention to what the answers are. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because they might show up as the questions on your lab practical. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay? These are easy points, because if I answer it incorrectly, it's going to tell me what the correct answer is. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You might want to write that down, because guess what it's going to ask you on your lab practical? Guess which 10 questions you're going to see? The same 10 you just took here. All right? So don't make it harder than it is. And don't blow it. These are easy points. When you're getting to the end of this semester and you got an 80% on this assignment when you could have gotten 100, that's going to come back to bite you. See? So just make sure you're doing that. Lab activity 2 is a little bit different. I'm going to show it to you because this one's actually graded. See, that lab activity I just showed you isn't graded. You don't get any grade for it, but it helps you complete your practical. But this one is a graded activity. It's a series of videos that you watch, some animations. You click on the animation, watch it, and then it's going to ask you some questions about that. Okay? So make sure that you just take your exam before the due date, which is September 7th, 11:59 p.m. Okay, so that's an overview of the class, how it's set up, where things are. What questions do you have for me as far as the setup of the class, how to get into Connect, how to use Connect, that sort of thing? How are you feeling about it? Feeling all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have any questions, ask on the discussion board, or one of the great things is that we see each other. So if you have questions and you want to ask me in person, in class, in lecture, on Thursdays, you can do that too. For those of you who are taking the class online, you can watch the lectures live, online. Otherwise, if you don't watch it live, you can always watch the recorded video. For those of you who are here, you'll be with me live watching the lecture. But if you ever, I don't know why you would ever want to, but if you ever want to go back and rewatch it, you can, if you want. But that's up to you. If you don't have any questions for me, I am done. That took up the 2 hours. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And we will talk to you soon. Take care.
I'm gonna go to the library and check out the password and then come back here again. So this
Okay.
is for the tutoring.
Sure.